In this video, we are going to know about water use and water pollution. Water is the essential element that makes life on Earth possible. Without water, there would be no life. We usually take water for granted. It flows from our taps when they are turned on. Most of us are able to bath when we want to, swim when we choose, and water our gardens. Like good health, we ignore water when we have it. Although 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, only a tiny fraction of this water is available to us as fresh water. About 97% of the total water available on Earth is found in oceans and is too salty for drinking or irrigation. The remaining 3% is fresh water. Of this, 2.997% is locked in ice caps or glaciers. Thus, only 0.003% of the Earth's total volume of water is easily available to us as soil moisture, groundwater, water vapor, and water in lakes, streams, rivers, and wetlands. In short, if the world's water supply were only 100 liters, our usable supply of fresh water would only be 0.003 liters or 1/2 teaspoon. This makes water a very precious resource. The future wars in our world may well be fought over water. By the middle of the century, almost twice as many people will be trying to share the same amount of fresh water the Earth has today. As fresh water becomes more scarce, access to water resources will be a major factor in determining the economic growth of several countries around the world. Water that is found in streams, rivers, lakes, wetlands, and artificial reservoirs is called surface water. Water that percolates into the ground and fills the pores in soil and rock is called groundwater. Porous water saturated layers of sand, gravel, or bedrock through which groundwater flows are called aquifers. Most aquifers are replenished naturally by rainfall that percolates downward through the soil and rock. So, what is water pollution? Water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, contaminate a stream, river, lake, ocean, aquifer, or other body of water, degrading water quality and rendering it toxic to humans or the environment. What are the causes of water pollution? There are several classes of common water pollutants. These are the disease-causing agents or the pathogens, which include bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and parasitic worms that enter water from domestic sewage and untreated human and animal waste. Human waste contain concentrated populations of coliform bacteria such as E. coli. These bacteria normally grow in the large intestine of humans where they are responsible for some food digestion and for the production of vitamin K. These bacteria are not harmful in low numbers. Large amounts of human waste in water increases the number of these bacteria which cause gastrointestinal diseases. Other potentially harmful bacteria from human waste may also be present in smaller numbers. Thus, the greater the amount of waste in the water, the greater are the chances of contracting diseases from them. Another category of water pollutants is oxygen-depleting waste. These are organic waste that can be decomposed by aerobic or the oxygen-requiring bacteria. Large populations of bacteria use up the oxygen present in the water to degrade this waste. In the process, this degrades water quality. The amount of oxygen required to break down a certain amount of organic matter is called a biological oxygen demand or the BOD. The amount of BOD in the water is an indicator of the level of pollution. If too much organic matter is added to the water, all the available oxygen is used up. This causes fish and other forms of oxygen-dependent aquatic life to die. Thus, anaerobic bacteria, those that do not require oxygen, begin to break down the waste. Their anaerobic respiration produces chemicals that have a foul odor and an unpleasant taste that is harmful to human health. A third class of pollutants are inorganic plant nutrients. These are the water-soluble nitrates and phosphates that cause excessive growth of algae and other aquatic plants. The excessive growth of algae and aquatic plants due to added nutrients is called eutrophication. They may interfere with the use of water by clogging water intake pipes, changing the taste and odor of water, and cause a build-up of organic matter. Another cause of water pollution is a variety of organic chemicals, which include oil, gasoline, plastics, pesticides, cleaning solvents, detergent, and many other chemicals. These are harmful to aquatic life and human life. They get into the water directly from industrial activity, either from improper handling of the chemical in industries and more often from improper and illegal disposal of chemical waste. Categories of water pollution. First is the groundwater. When rain falls and seeps deep into the earth, filling the cracks, crevices, and porous spaces of an aquifer, it becomes groundwater, one of our least visible but most important natural resources. Nearly 40% of Americans rely on groundwater pumped to the earth's surface for drinking water. For some folks in rural areas, it's their only fresh water source. Groundwater gets polluted when contaminants from pesticides and fertilizers to waste leached from landfills and septic systems make their way into an aquifer, rendering it unsafe for human use. Ridding groundwater of contaminants can be difficult to impossible as well as costly. Once polluted, an aquifer may be unusable for decades or even thousands of years. Groundwater can also spread contamination far from the original polluting source as it seeps into the streams, lakes, and oceans. Surface water. Covering about 70% of the earth, surface water is what fills our oceans, lakes, rivers, and all of those other blue bits on the world map. Surface water from freshwater sources accounts for more than 60% of the water delivered to American homes, but a significant pool of that water is in peril. According to the most recent surveys on natural water quality from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, nearly half of our rivers and streams and more than one-third of our lakes are polluted and unfit for swimming, fishing, and drinking. Nutrient pollution, which includes nitrates and phosphates, is the leading type of contamination in these water sources. While plants and animals need these nutrients to grow, they have become a major pollutant due to farm waste and fertilizer runoff. Municipal and industrial waste discharges contribute their fair share of toxins as well. There's also all the random junk that industry and individuals dump directly into waterways. Ocean water. 80% of ocean pollution originates on land, which along the coast or far inland. Contaminants such as chemicals, nutrients, and heavy metals are carried from farms, factories, and cities by streams and rivers into our bays and estuaries. From there, they travel out to sea. Meanwhile, marine debris, particularly plastic, is blown in by the wind or washed in via storm drains and sewers. Our seas are also sometimes spoiled by oil spills and leaks, big and small, and are consistently soaking up carbon pollution from the air. Point source. When contamination originates from a single source, it's called point source pollution. Examples include wastewater discharged legally or illegally by a manufacturer, oil refinery or wastewater treatment facility, as well as contamination from leaking septic systems, chemical and oil spills, and illegal dumping. The EPA regulates point source pollution by establishing limits on what can be discharged by a facility directly into a body of water. While point source pollution originates from a specific place, it can affect miles of waterways and oceans. That's it for today's video. Let's see you again in my next video. Fighting!